What conspiracy theories do you think are too logical to ignore? I like that people always are worried that Epstein was murdered instead of suicide. What if this was a ploy to cover up that he just escaped or paid his way out of prison?
Well, crap.
So Epstein really didn't kill himself is what we're agreeing on here. 9/11. No matter what you say or think, it was absolute, 100% guaranteed. An inside-controlled demolition-based governmental job. Yeah man, too many coincidences and too many things are way off. It freaking reeks. Wasn't there an explosion from inside one of the buildings when the plane hit it? Like a bomb went off. I also heard that the central foundation and support should not have allowed it to collapse in on itself the way it did. For those saying obviously something exploded, I meant a separate explosion goes off in the building right before the plane hits. The Trump team messed with voting machines to steal the 2016 election. They did plenty of other dirty stuff, openly working with Russians, voter suppression, constant misinformation campaign, etc. Ad nauseam. It's clear they would do it if they could. There is no shortage of information about vulnerable machines in the control of less than honorable people. The Republicans have been systematically blocking voting security legislation. Epstein didn't kill himself, and he hosted pet parties on some island. In the Caribbean, the chemical that can turn frogs gay exists, and it could potentially work for humans. The Masons built the current Denver airport to hide something important, and I'm sure I'm missing some. P.S. Top 2 have been proven to be mostly true for a fact. Third is known except for the something important thingy. With the amount of money that has been donated, it's impossible that a cure for cancer hasn't been found yet. Personally, I think the cure must be hidden somewhere, and only the wealthiest people can access to it. I came up with one the other night. The reason the Trump administration has been appearing to lack any concern about the coronavirus is because they want the virus to strike populated cities, where people traditionally vote Democrats, so they have even fewer voters to contend with come election time, since there is little chance they will win this time around.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to Karma Farm to get more videos just like this.
Russia helped get Trump elected not to destroy the USA, but to save it. They knew how terrible a leader Trump would be and intentionally aided his campaign to reveal the cracks in our system so that in 2020, Americans would be more fired up to elect someone like Bernie Sanders, who will actually implement policies that will help improve the lives of average working-class Americans. Why, you ask? Maybe to show the world that unregulated capitalism is dangerous, and that putting the worker first is the best way forward. Maybe they want to teach us a lesson about how banana republics work so future leaders will have a reason not to go into more pointless wars. Or maybe they just want a space race rematch. 1. Kennedy gets elected. 2. Kennedy is critical of the CIA, his own VP and military for wanting to turn the Cold War into a hot one and the willingness to perform false flag operations. Project Northwoods to do it. 3. Kennedy is shot. 4. His VP takes power. 5. Classified. Pretty sure I saw it here on Reddit at one point, but someone brought up the art trade. That these $1 million art shows / individual pieces that go for insanely high prices are just a way for money laundering. Tax write-off even. So a real estate friend of mine told me that if you made $1 million you should get a crappy painting done. Have a mate who happens to be an art critic or evaluator value the piece at 50, then donates that piece to charity stating its value. That allows you to claim a deductible of 50 towards your taxable income due to your charitable donation. Genius. I worked in a museum for 10 years. A very wealthy woman, who was the head of the board of directors, would have her son buy works of art for the museum. Like a $300, $400 work of art. He would then donate it to the museum, and get a full tax write-off for it. And by donate I mean it would come with a stipulation that it would go back into his own personal trust after a period of 10-15 years, in which time the work would have risen in value to about $1 to $5 million and could be sold off. The way the wealthy can hide their money is unlimited. Amazed that I haven't seen Gary Webb mentioned. Exposed the CIA for assisting in drug trafficking and commits suicide with 2 bullets to the head.
Worst case of suicide I've ever seen.
Reminds me of the dude in India who was stabbed in the back 12 times with a knife and the police ruled it as a suicide. This one is small and local but still too insane to ignore and just came up today. Just recently, our small suburban town's favorite gas station went out of business. Everyone went there. The guy who ran it was the mayor. He retires and sells the property after an issue with the ground underneath the gas pumps. They tear down the gas pumps and keep the garage. Mavis Tire bought the property and opened a new store. A few days after the Mavis opens, someone posts a picture on Facebook of an intersection at a road near it with nails all over the road. The guy theorizes that a box of nails fell off of a construction truck. The police come clean it up and it seems all is well. Fast forward a few days later and people are commenting on the post that they are finding nails in their car tires. Not just from that intersection. People jokingly say maybe it was the new Mavis guys throwing nails around, but nothing really happens. Several weeks later, people have been posting day in and day out pictures of nails in their car tires. My dad took my car into the Mavis in question about 3 weeks ago, and they found a nail inside of the right front tire. I noticed that it was driving sort of funny, but never that my tire was on the verge of exploding. I jokingly said, "People have been saying you guys have just been going around throwing nails all over the place," trying not to laugh at how insane it sounded to say out loud. The guy behind the counter said nothing but yeah with a weird smirk. Over 50 people have posted on the town Facebook that their cars have had nails in their tires. My mom is driving my car now because her car has a nail in the tire. It's been almost 3 months. I'll post updates if anyone is interested. David Miscavige, the chairman of the Church of Scientology, definitely murdered his wife and is getting off scot-free for it. He and his wife got into a pretty heated argument in 2007, and she hasn't been seen since. Lawyers hired by David claim she is still alive and devotes 100% of her time to work at the Church of Scientology, which is why she hasn't been seen since August 2007. In 2013, a former member of the church had filed a missing person report that was closed after a few officers had spoken and seen Mrs. Miscavige, even though there's no evidence whatsoever of this meeting. All missing persons reports now are turned down since this investigation is forever closed. Lee Remini has had it investigated as well and written letters to Shelley with no response. Before Lee left the church, she wrote letters to Shelley that the church refused to deliver, and when she asked where Shelley was, she was told she didn't have clearance to ask that question. Dr. Claw is Inspector Gadget. Edit. Dr. Claw is Human Inspector and Inspector Gadget is obviously a younger clone of him.
Explain.
Dr. Claw is the real Inspector Gadget. Human Gadget Claw was blown up in a terrible accident, causing everyone to think he is dead. Due to his disfigurement, he hides from his family. Grief-stricken, his genius niece Penny builds a robot Uncle Gadget to fight crime and be the uncle she misses. Claw seeks to destroy the machine that essentially took his place. It's why we never see Claw's face, his screwed-up voice, and I'm sure there is more I'm forgetting. Edit. Also, this is why Penny is never seriously injured and nothing happens to her. U.S. intelligence conducting organized blackmail operations out of Epstein's Island. The prosecutor handling Epstein's old case was told to back off and go easy because Epstein was intelligent. Acosta's departure from the administration confirmed that this was not just a rumor. So as an American, I would really like to know exactly who was blackmailing who, how far it extended, and what political decisions were affected. Some torture devices such as the Iron Maiden were made up hundreds of years later so people would think, well, a regular hanging ain't too bad then. This is literally true as far as the Iron Maiden. I'm pretty sure one of the Simon Whistler things talked about this like last week. The Denver Airport Theory. I mean, the capstone of the building literally has the Freemason logo on it. There are some weird apocalypse murals on the walls. The runways look like a swastika, and there's a 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes. I mean, seriously, who the duck designed that place? Building the airport cost $3 billion more than expected, and the labor was piecemealed out through countless contractors. So nobody who built it knows the full scope of it. Oh, and that 50-foot tall horse statue with red glowing eyes killed its creator. DIA is a weird place. Nutley, NJ, where Martha Stewart was born, has a butcher shop every other corner. How much meat does one small blue-collar town need? Suspicious. Let me introduce you to Hashwanka Piercer, the theory that Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho made a sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with his 2012 film Snowpiercer. That beach Debbie that used to work in accounting stole the succulent I had on my office desk. She always made comments about how much she loved it. Then she quit her job here and I come into work the next day, and it's mysteriously nowhere to be found. Haven't seen it since. Our phones and Slash or the apps on them are listening to the conversation. I'm super anti-conspiracy theory, but this has happened to me way too many times in the last 2 years. I impulse shop really badly. I carry cash for the explicit purpose of I can use this guilt-free for an impulse purchase. 2 years ago I bought high-end lipstick with cash in a store after doing zero research on the brand. The next day I had ads for it despite never even previously heard of that company before. I had only talked with a sales associate about the brand for a while. 6 months later a very similar thing happened when I switched hair care products to very specific brand. Later that night I had ads for their company which I had never heard of or looked up pre or post purchase. 8 months ago I ordered a cider I had never heard of at a bar in NYC. Didn't research the company or anything about it. Not even 2 hours after I left the restaurant I had ads for that brand of cider on my Facebook. There's easily 5-7 more times I could think of, but these are the ones that bother me the most because I am positive the transactions were all in cash. I had never looked up the product before, and I had very targeted specific ads from those exact companies less than a day later on most of my social media. Denver Airport being a fallout shelter for the elite. The fact that it went like $1 billion over budget, and all the symbolism. Trader Joe's makes their parking lot small intentionally to make it seem like it's more popular. My dog did not go to Doggy Disneyland because he won a lifetime ticket for being a good boy. I think that he in fact died. Helen Keller. No chance that a lot of her achievements are factual.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to Karma Farm to get more videos just like this.